Sri Matre Namaha. Welcome to Sri Matrika. I am your companion in this journey, and today we gather once again at the lotus feet of Lalita Mahatripura Sundari. In this space, we move beyond concepts to experience the Divine Mother as the very breath of our lives. Whether you're a long-time practitioner or a seeking soul, I am honored to walk this path of silence, sound, and surrender with you. Let us explore her radiance together. Over our last few episodes, we have walked a very deliberate path together. We explored Srividya for modern times to see how this ancient wisdom fits into our chaotic modern lives. We decoded the cosmic alphabet in Aksharamala, looked at the perfect balance of masculine and feminine energies in the Ardhanarishwara Tattva, and most recently, we also focused on peeling away our labels to identify the spark of the divine in the Unbroken Soul. Today, we are taking the next natural step. Now that we understand who we are beyond our temporary human identities, how do we actually walk the path back to that source? I want to pull back the curtain and lay out the actual process of transformation at a high level, making it simple, clear, and integrated for everyone listening, whether you are just stepping onto the path, studying your daily practice, or navigating the deep silence of advanced contemplation. To understand this process, we have to start where everything begins and where everything must eventually return. The absolute center of Sri Chakra, a single, unmanifest Bindu. This Bindu is not just a geometric point, it is the absolute blueprint of reality. It represents Kamakala, the primordial point of divine union, where the masculine aspect of reality, Shiva, that is pure still consciousness, and the feminine aspect, Shakti, the dynamic cosmic energy, exist as one perfectly balanced force. As we know from the very first verse of the Saundarya Lahari, Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yadi Bhavati Shaktah Prabhavitum. Shiva can only manifest power when united with Shakti. Without her, he remains entirely still and inert. They are as inseparable as fire and heat. Now, how does the universe move from the perfectly silent, united center into the world of forms and objects that we see every day? It happens through a cosmic vibration called the Mahaparaprasada Mantra. And what is that? It is a sound. For a beginner, these may sound like abstract syllables, but for the advanced practitioner, they represent the literal out-breath and in-breath of existence. The first syllable, Hasaum, is the cosmic expansion. It is pure consciousness utilizing its dynamic power to project outward, cascading down into named forms and physical matter. The second syllable, Sahom, is the cosmic contraction. It is the reverse movement, the pulling back of the universe, folding the manifest world back into the silent source. When this massive macrocosmic pulse condenses and mirrors itself within the human body, it becomes the Hamsa Mantra. This is the automatic, involuntary sound of your own physical breathing. Hum as you inhale and Sa as you exhale. So the very process of living and breathing is the cosmic mantra happening inside you right now. Understanding this cosmic breath is beautiful. But how do we as individuals ride this way back to the center? The tradition maps this out through a compassionate 4-stage process called upasana, designed to take a seeker systematically from the physical world back to the formless source. The first stage is upadana, which is the natural home of the beginner. Here, you are initiated into a mantra by a living teacher. Your work in this stage is grounding, learning the correct pronunciation, studying the philosophical meaning, and establishing a regular daily habit of meditation. As that habit stabilizes, it naturally flows into the second stage, Vidyā. Here, your practice becomes active and ritualistic. You learn external procedures and physical offerings. For the practitioner, Vidyā is an essential tool. It uses your physical senses and body to tether a restless, wandering mind. But you do not stay outside forever. As your focus sharpens, the practice evolves into the third stage, Svadhyaya. Now, the rigid external rituals begin to drop away and you move into intense, internalized repetition of the mantra. It is during Svadhyaya that a profound, unexplainable emotional bond with the divine blossoms, turning a strict discipline into an act of pure, ecstatic devotion. Finally, this devotion carries you into the fourth stage, yoga. In this tradition, yoga does not mean physical postures. It means the literal, permanent merging where the false boundary between the seeker and the deity completely dissolves and individual consciousness becomes one with supreme consciousness. Is this easy? No. Can this be achievable? Yes. Now, this brings us to a critical crossroads that advanced practitioners face. A phase we can call hypervelocity transformation. As your mind accelerates spiritually through these stages, the internal shift is so rapid that the physical rituals of upadana and Vidyā simply stop working. Your mind becomes too still to perform them. Eventually, as you sink into a deep meditative trance called samadhi, even the inner repetition of the mantra falls completely silent. This moment triggers a profound psychological crisis. The dedicated seeker is often gripped by deep guilt and doubt, thinking, why has my mantra stopped? Have I lost my connection? Am I doing something wrong? This exact turning point is why a true living guru is non-negotiable. The master steps into your silence to remove that fear, reassuring you, do not worry, the mantra has not abandoned you. It has simply fulfilled its purpose. It was the boat that brought you across the river of thoughts, and now that you have reached the shore of absolute stillness, it is time to step off. So, now we just touched upon the word guru. Let us dive a little deeper into the nature of the guru and the initiations the guru gives. Scriptures like Kamakala Vilasa remind us that the lineage of teachers, the Guru Mandala, is actually an embodiment of Shiva and Shakti themselves. a principle known as Avisesha Bheda Bhinna, meaning distinct yet without any real difference. The Guru may walk among us as a human being, but spiritually they function as a transparent window to the ultimate cosmic energy. Kularnava Tantra explains that a master initiates this internal acceleration through two depths of connection. Bahya Diksha. This is external initiation using spoken words and physical rituals, perfectly suited to give a beginner a tangible, structured framework to start their journey. Veda Diksha. This is internal, direct initiation. It is an intense, subtle process where the Guru bypasses your intellect entirely, directly transferring spiritual energy to pierce and shatter your deepest internal blockages instantly. Scriptures note that finding a master capable of Veda and a student mature enough to receive it is incredibly rare. But when it happens, Kularnava Tantra declares that grueling external struggles like severe physical mortifications, painful fastings, or rigid scriptural rule following becomes completely unnecessary. The inner light has been turned on. The process has taken over. Now, all of this work, what is this for? What is our ultimate destination? Simply put, it is from form to formless. To protect and stabilize this high-speed internal process, the core rule of sadhana demands an absolute unshakable integrity. One mantra, one guru, and one devata. In our modern culture, it is easy to become a spiritual tourist, collecting different techniques from books and apps. But fracturing your attention prevents you from ever going deep. If you want to find water, you do not dig 10 shallow holes. You dig one deep well in a single spot. When that singular focus reaches its absolute maturity, the Guru imparts the final crown jewel of knowledge, Brahma Vidya, leading to the ultimate silent dialogue of human realization. Tattvamasi, you are that. And the disciple understands, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. A true Guru possesses the spiritual sight to instantly know if this affirmation is an authentic, wordless realization or merely an intellectual ego trick. Ultimately, this is where the entire circle closes. The process of Śrī Vidyā, which began for the beginner as a practice focused on Saguna Brahman, which is the divine with beautiful forms, attributes and deities, reaches its absolute fulfillment at the Bindu. There, all symbols, rituals and forms melt away completely, leaving you resting in that absolute, formless reality of Nirguna Brahman. I still would like to call it as Paripurna Brahman. A genuine spiritual master never asks for large crowds, commercial fame, or financial gain. They live an unassuming life, teaching direct, one-on-one, sowing the spiritual knowledge as a quiet seed in your heart. Their only goal is to teach you how to nurture that seed until it becomes a massive tree and eventually to make you a master, ensuring that this continuous organic lineage of light continues to flow quietly down through the ages. As we bring this episode to a close, let us sit for a moment with the sheer magnitude of what we have just uncovered. We've traveled from the absolute, unmanifest silence of the Bindu down through the cosmic pulse of the Mahapara Prasada mantra, into the structured steps of daily practice and right back to the wordless realization of your own infinite nature. If you take only one truth away from our reflection today, let it be this. The map we have discussed is not a blueprint of a distant heaven. It is the architectural blueprint of your own consciousness. For a beginner listening to this, if the Sanskrit terms, the complex geometry of the Sri Chakra, or the depth of these advanced mantras feel overwhelming, take a deep breath and smile. The Divine Mother, Lalita Ambika, does not demand expertise. She demands sincerity and discipline. Every master who ever dissolved into the formless Nirguna Brahman began exactly where you are sitting right now, holding a new mantra, stumbling over the pronunciation, and trying to carve out 15 minutes of quiet in a loud, chaotic world. Just trust the process. You do not have to climb the entire mountain today. You only have to take the next step with love. She is Shiva Jnana Pradayini, the compassionate mother who meets you exactly where you are, reaches down and pulls you up into her lap. For the practitioner, those of you who are in the thick of the daily grind, showing up on your meditation mat day after day, wading through the stages of Ijya and Svadhyaya, keep going. There will be days when your mind feels like a wild storm and days when your practice feels dry or mechanical. Do not let the deceptive tricks of the ego convince you that you are standing still. Every single repetition of your mantra, every single moment you choose focus over distraction is a hammer chipping away at the ancient walls of separation. You are digging a deep well in a world full of shallow holes. When the rituals begin to feel heavy, or when the silence starts to creep in and make you question your progress, remember the promise of the Guru Mandala, that stillness is not a void. It is the gathering of cosmic momentum. And to the experts, the advanced souls navigating the deep, uncharted waters of Samadhi, where the mantra has died down to a whisper and the external world has lost its grip, surrender completely. Let go of the oars. The guilt you feel when the mind refuses to engage in old rituals is simply the last desperate grasp of the individual ego trying to maintain control. When the mantra stops, do not force it back into motion. Stand naked in that silence. A true guru is already standing there with you, holding the mirror of Brahma Vidya, waiting to hear your life become the ultimate affirmation, Aham Brahmasmi. Let us close by anchoring this ancient wisdom into our immediate modern reality. You do not need to flee to a Himalayan cave or abandon your worldly responsibilities to live the truth of Śrī Vidyā. The Ardhanarishvara Tattva taught us that the sacred and the mundane, the spirit and the matter, the stillness and the action are not enemies. They are the twin expressions of the same divine force. When you step away from this episode and walk back into your life, carry the bindu in your heart. When you breathe in, remember Hasaum, the divine projecting itself into this beautiful, chaotic world through you. When you breathe out, remember Sahaum, the gentle reminder that everything temporary must eventually dissolve back into the eternal. You are an unbroken soul. You are distinct yet completely without difference from the source that birthed the stars. Walk through the rest of your day with the quiet dignity of a sovereign being, knowing that the ultimate reality, the highest wisdom, the truest guru, and the absolute divine union is not something you have to search for. It is who you have always been. Thank you for walking this path of light with me today on the radiance of truth. Until next time, stay anchored in the silence, stay true to your singular focus, and may you recognize the Divine Mother in every phase you meet. I humbly bow down to the Divine Mother, to the Guru Tattva, to all the Gurus and our family members who have been helping us through this journey of light. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sri Matre Namaha.